What's happening, y'all? I'm D, and you're at Divination with D. I am truly looking a hot mess today. I'm trying to do something here because I want to be seen up here more. So let me just straighten this out. Don't mind me. I'm trying to attend to my schoolwork as best that I possibly can right now. Anyway, I wanted to talk about this whole thing with spirituality, and this is the thing. I've been hearing a lot about how people are saying they're turning away from spirituality, and one of the a person that I follow, one of the girls' channels that I follow, and I'm gonna let you guys know who it is because I actually ended up watching this last night. And I'm just like, how crazy is this? Because everybody seems to, not everybody, but a lot of people kind of tend to be like on this thing. Her name is called, her channel, Real Kaya. I love her. She talks about a lot of things that are spiritual. I don't know if the other girl has said anything that I like to watch too, because I haven't been to her channel lately. I've been so invested in my schoolwork, I don't have time to even watch the favorite people that I like to watch. Is something Cauldron. Oh gosh, I can't remember her name, but she does a lot of things on spirituality and real facts. Well, real things that happen with, in the spiritual community with people, real true stories. But the whole thing with Kaya doing a video, a compilation video of different individuals on TikTok saying how they're done, with spirituality and all this stuff, and how it's too many rules and it's starting to feel like a religion. It really just kind of made me wonder, what are people doing? What are y'all out here doing? Spirituality is an individual journey that takes place on the inside, okay? That then begins to reflect on the outside. So when you understand that you being spiritual really has nothing to do with a whole bunch of so-called rules and regulations. That's putting religion on it. When you begin to do certain things habitually, religiously, there's a format that you tend to follow when it comes to certain things, like if you do work like I do, you will do certain practices before and after you do that work, meaning my candle work. When I do my divination, when I'm, throwing those cards, I'll do a cleansing before and after, because you want to make sure that you're not bringing into your working any energy that should not be there. However, that is the practice that I do that may fall in a religious context, but that is not the totality or the definition of spirituality. Spirituality is, one, you're spiritual without even trying, because you are a spiritual being in a human vehicle, for one. But there's no and I want to say this right the way that I'm thinking it. There's no real way or right way or wrong way to be spiritual, because you just are. Your awareness and acknowledgement of you being spiritual may fall into the category of then how you would like to practice showing your spiritual self. The practices, though, have nothing to do with you being spiritual or not, because regardless to what you do, you're still spiritual. It's just having an awareness that you are not just human, that there's more than one aspect to who you are. It's like, say you have a car. A car is going to be a car regardless to whether it gets driven, whether it gets gas put in it, whether it gets tuned up, whether it gets the wheels changed, whether it gets, fuel put in it, for the windshield. You know what I'm saying? It is still going to be a car. All those other things are like fundamentals. They're things that are nice to have if you want to get around in the vehicle, but it does not take away from that. It does not take away from the car being a car. So you don't have to do a whole bunch of stuff to be considered as spiritual, or just because you're spiritual does not mean that you then have to do all these different things to feel like you're this spiritual being. Because again, the so-called spiritual, conscious, awakened community may have certain people feel like there's certain things that they need to do, and they are missing the objective of what it actually is to be spiritual. And that's just a plain acknowledgement that you are multidimensional. Plain and simple. We are multidimensional beings. We are spiritual beings having a human experience that acknowledge what we encounter, and how we tend to incorporate different things in that happen to us as spiritual phenomena. It doesn't mean, you have to do all these different things. And it's kind of sad, because I feel like people get carried away with, the whole thing, like especially when they first get into it. They want to know everything about it. What do I have to do? This and that. What you have to do is allow your higher self to guide you. Okay? And that's why you are your own universe. Universe is one. You are your own universe. How are you going to allow someone else to rule your universe? So, you get the information from inside you because your higher self already knows everything that you need for yourself, will guide you, will give you direction. And I know when I talk to people in helping them with certain things, I always tell them, at some point, you really do need to not ask me, because I don't know what you actually need. I can help guide you and maybe give you information about what I do, but just because this is something that I do, what works for me may not work for you, because we are here with different maps. Our maps may intertwine, but ultimately I made up my map separately than you made up your map. So, if you're trying to follow my pathway, you may completely divert off of the path that you're supposed to take on your map. You need to be following your map, and the only one that knows your map is you. So you need to get in touch with your higher self. This is something that ended up happening to me, and it kept on coming up every time I would go to get a reader. And I always say that when you get a reader or go have a reading done or something, regardless of what kind of reading it is, whether they're throwing bones, using tarot cards, or cowrie shells, whatever the method is, it should be a confirmation of what you already know. So, 2 times that I ended up getting a reading, 2 different individuals, and they kept telling me, I need to be initiated. You need to be initiated. And I thought about it. And they were saying, that I needed to get initiated in order to really know who was over my head. And I could have someone actually, work with me, but that doesn't mean that they're over my head. And in order for me to find out, I'd have to pay like a couple $1,000s to go through this process, and that's with the whole, I believe it's like the Yoruba tradition or religion. My thing is, I came out of Christianity because I didn't want to be under any religion. So why am I going to go back into one just to so-called find out from somebody who's over my head? Why can't I just find out? Like, my higher self isn't going to tell me, or the spirits that are working with me are not going to allow me to have that information unless it comes from somebody else. I don't understand that. And you don't know me. So why should I even take your word for it and believe you of what you're telling me? And after the second time of hearing this, I actually went home and did a candle, spoke to my ancestors, and I asked for my ancestors and my spirit guides to come to me, and whoever was over my head to show themselves to me if I actually have someone over my head, because I didn't feel that I should have to use an outside source to inform me of who's over my head. Now, mind you, at the same time, I was living in Florida and I was working at VOA. And the boss that I had, she liked Oshun. And she felt that that was the one who was calling her. I have always been a water person. I've always had a thing for the water, for mermaids. And the color blue used to be my favorite color forever. Okay. When I went to bed, because me and her were talking about it, and I was just like, I really just don't even know, like, if I even want to go through this, because that's a lot. And then to commit yourself to it, like, it's a lot getting into the whole, Yoruba religion and what they, insist of you. Like, you got rules and regulations in it because it's a religion. I went to bed, and mind you, I'm not, I don't have a lot of knowledge when it comes to the religion, because when I broke free from Christianity, I didn't want to get into any religion at all. I just I felt good about being free to practice my spirituality however I wanted to, the way that my spirit was leading me to. And so when I went to sleep, I had a dream that I was Yemaya, or Mami Wata, and I was doing this dance with Oshun, and we were going around. Like, first it was like this thing where I was in one place and Oshun was in another place, and there was these other individuals that were there, and they were like telling us, to come forward, and they were saying like to do our Toro like individually, and then to dance like together. It was almost like not really a battle dance, but a dance together that we ended up doing. And so when I woke up, because I was like, it was some other elements to the dream, but I clearly know that I was represented by Mami Wata, or Yemaya. When I woke up from the dream, I always write down my dreams in my dream journal. I looked it up, and I saw that there actually was this whole thing of a dance between Yemaya and Oshun, and it was supposed to be to see who was the most beautiful, because in some stories they're said to be sisters, and in another story they're said to be Oshun is supposed to be the daughter of Yemaya, and they both were deemed as beautiful, and not one being more beautiful than the other, because that's what the whole dance was supposed to be, to see who was more beautiful. And they were like, well, because you guys both have different qualities that the other does not possess, that's what makes you unique. But we can't say that one is more beautiful than the other, because you both have such unique and individual qualities and characteristics that makes you, within yourself, beautiful. But I had no idea that that was even a real thing that ended up happening. And when I looked it up, I was like, wow. I tell people all the time, you want to know something? Allow your higher self to guide you. Ask your spirit guides to come in and assist you. Ask your ancestors to come in and help you. Ask your higher self that already knows, because of the amount of times that you've incarnated here over and over again. Ask, and you will get it. and I always ask for specific signs. I say, please come to me in a dream, reveal to me what it is that I need to know. Give me confirmation of different things by allowing me to see X, Y, Z. And I ask for things that I don't typically see every day. And sometimes I'll ask to, if it's like a name or something, I'll ask to hear it more than 3 times or more. So I had a situation at the last job that I was at, and was not quite sure of the true nature of an individual. And this person is a nurse. And because of the way that she began to move, I said, if this person is a true friend, allow me to see a Santa Claus. And at that time, it would have been out of character for me to see a Santa Claus. I said, but if this person is an enemy, allow me to see a yellow truck. And I said yellow because the color yellow is not a common color that you would see in regards to like a taxi cab color yellow, and a truck because this person has a truck. It took 4 days, and I, asked Spirit to allow me to stay aware of different things so I would catch the sign. And one day that I was driving to work, I seen a yellow truck. And I was like, thank you for the confirmation. So again, sometimes people like to go to other individuals to ask for help to build on the spirituality or build on things that they want to know. And I understand sometimes it's easier to get that help from somebody else for guidance. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that, but I feel like at some point you have to take your own spirituality in your own hands and determine what is best for you, instead of feeling like you have to follow all these rules and regulations that other people say and put on you, because it may not be for you. And so because of that, now we have all these individuals that are saying that they're through with spirituality because of, to me, a lack of understanding their own spirituality, and going to all of these outside sources instead of looking within for what it is that they need to know for their own personal guidance. If your higher self hasn't told you that you need to be taking off your shoes before you come into your house and having some spray to cleanse yourself fully before you enter into the rest of your house, but somebody else tells you that that's what you need to do to make sure that you ain't bringing no kind of spirits or negative energy into your place, don't do it. Because for that other person, you don't know where they are going, where they've been, and the things that they are around, for them to feel like that's what they need to do. But you may not run in them same circles. You may not go in them same places. You may not be around the same frequency of energy that that person is around, and not have the same need to do that. Someone who is constantly working and manipulating energy all the time may have to feel a sense of needing to cleanse themselves and their space a little bit more because of what they are doing. But if that is not something that you do, and you know that you pretty much are around individuals that are decent, you know what I'm saying? You don't feel any heaviness or weirdness. Don't get caught up. Don't get caught up in doing a whole bunch of things that other people are talking about. And if you haven't looked up things for yourself, and you're just going by whatever someone says, shame on you. Because again, you have to take your own spiritual life into your own hands and understand, again, like I said, being spiritual has nothing to do with all the things that you do. You just are. Spirituality is something that you are. The practice of spirituality is something that is completely different. They're just behaviors. Now, if you want to be religious with how you live spiritually, that's on you. But again, it shouldn't come from some outside source. It should all come from within, and knowing who you are from within, understanding who you are within. All spirituality really is anyway is understanding who you are. And so if you're looking outside of yourself to figure out how you need to be spiritually, you're looking in the wrong place. So I don't know what else to say, but like I said, I ended up watching this video on Real Kaya's channel, saying how, let me see, it says spiritual people are done with the spiritual community. it's just funny. And this is it. If you want to, that's Kaya. That's Real Kaya right there. And this is a compilation what she was doing, what she was getting off of TikTok, different people on TikTok. And so I didn't really get to go through the whole thing, but my thing is, I just don't understand. People get caught up in this whole fad of things. And for those who have been doing certain practices and doing certain things like their whole life, spirituality is more than just what you do. You understand it's more than what you do. It's who you are. And I feel like a lot of people are trying to do all these things to gain some type of recognition or validation for who they are, and feeling like, maybe all those things make you feel like you're really spiritual. And again, they're just practices. It doesn't make you any more spiritual if you do certain things than if you don't do certain things. Because at the end of the day, we're all spiritual beings. It's just a matter of acknowledging it and, just doing certain things. But that's all I got to say. You guys need to be careful of who you are out here listening to and following and getting information from. And tune in more to your own higher self. Spend more time talking to your own higher self and listening to your own higher self than listening to some of these other people out here that are trying to direct you and misdirect you when it comes to your own spirituality, your own spiritual being. Don't be deceived. So that's all I got to say, y'all. Thank y'all for coming to my channel and watching this video. And if I happen to have given any kind of anything that you could take away from this, understanding, clarification, whatever, please leave me a comment and let me know how this has helped you or resonated with your how you feel. Okay, just, you know, with your own soul. So, like, share, and subscribe. And until the next time, be well.